Hello, my Cornerstone compatriots, and today we're going to be doing something completely different. Not completely different. We're going to be talking about U.S. history, which is my favorite, was my favorite subject, is my favorite subject. So you get to see me shine as a teacher because I just love this subject. And without further ado, we're going to introduce the topic words to this story called The Message. Okay, the first topic word is America. And of course, that is where we live. Well, we live in the United States of America. And that is represented by our flag right here. Okay. And the next topic word is colonist. All right, which is right below it. Okay. Colonist on our on our communication board here. So a colonist is somebody who came over on a ship to live in a new place. A new place in this instance being the continent of North America. Alrighty, the next topic word is king. No, I'm sorry, fight. Fight is just not a good thing. All right. We don't want you to fight. I don't want to fight. No one really wants to fight, you know? Okay. But we all have an idea. We probably all have an idea of what a fight looks like. It's when people have a disagreement and it becomes physical. They start hitting each other, stuff like that. Alrighty. Let's see. King. A king. We don't have a king. We have elected officials who help who we choose to govern our society, and they are supposed to govern. They're supposed to run things in the United States according to what our wishes are. Okay, but in the old days, they had kings and queens, and they were people who were just kind of born into the role. Um, and they kind of ran things, and they still have kings and queens in other countries, but I think they're mostly just figureheads. Um, I don't think they have any real power. Uh, Anyways, the next topic word is right. Okay, and if I can find that here, that would be nice. Let's see. Right. Right, 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 right. And it doesn't seem to have the word right. Okay, but right can mean more than one thing. You can be right, okay? Like, you could have the right answer. All right? You could be right about something, like somebody else might have the wrong idea, you might have the right idea. But also right can mean something that you are entitled to, that you have, okay? Like you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay, you have that right. Everybody in the United States has that right. Okay, all right. War. Okay, fighting, unfortunately, can lead to war. Okay, and let's see if they have a picture representation of war. No, it doesn't look like they do. Okay, war is when they pick up dangerous weapons and they start fighting each other. And there's unfortunately a lot of you know terrible things that go on during war. Okay, so let's go to the next part. Okay, so this story is called The Message, and it is by Cara Mew, illustrated by Alex Weishart. And you can see that these people are dressed differently, somewhat differently than the way people dress now. Okay, because this story takes place about 239 years ago. So think of yesterday as behind you, okay? 239 years ago is way, 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 way behind you, okay? Way behind you. Okay. Alrighty then. Houses were built somewhat more simply back then, okay? Arnold and Father. This is Arnold and his father. Arnold and his father lived in a colony. They lived a long time ago, a lot of yesterdays, a lot of yesterdays. They lived in what is now called America. Arnold heard his father talking with friends about the King of Britain. The king was not being fair. The colonists were mad. They were angry. You know, here's the king. The colonists were talking about the king, and they were angry. Okay, so again, they're dressed differently than we dress now. They're wearing pants that come down to the knees, and they wore really long socks. Or maybe they had, actually, I think they had like sock undergarments that went all the way down to their ankles. I'm not really sure, to tell you the truth. And they wore different hats back then. Okay, so the colonists were mad at the King of England. All right, otherwise known as Great Britain. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Night after night, Arnold's father and friends met. Night after night, they waited for a message. What was the message? See, they're waiting. Okay, you look at your watch when you're waiting, or at least I hope you look at your watch when you're waiting, because that's what I'm trying to teach some of you. All right, so these guys are all waiting night after night. Uh-oh. One night there was a light shining from a steeple. Arnold's father and friends saw the light. The light was a message. Aha. So here is, I guess, what was sort of like a church or a courthouse or both, you know, and there's a light up there. There's a finger pointing to it. Look at that light. Uh-oh, a guy on a horse. A man on a horse rode through the night. His name was Paul Revere. The British are coming, he warned. This was the message. Okay, so there he goes, riding through the night. You can tell it's night because of the stars, you know. And did they say it was late at night? No, they just said rode through the night. So he probably rode all day, you know. And late at night would be like the PM, evening to night. Uh-oh. More men on horses rode all night. They warned the colonists in other towns. The British are coming. They spread the message. Uh-oh, what did these British want? Look, they're riding at night too. PM. Uh-oh, here come the British. And they don't look too happy. The British soldiers were coming. The colonists heard the message. The colonists must get ready to fight for their rights. There's that word fight. And there's that word rights. Okay? So, sometime, you know, in our history, we had to fight for the right, you know, to be free in the United States, you know, and we still kind of have to fight for those rights sometimes. Not really fight physically, but we've had to we've had to, over time, different groups of people, excuse me, have had to fight, have had to put up resistance, and argue and, you know, um, work against, like be defiant, like work against society, in order to get their rights, you know. They had to, well, basically fight. A fight doesn't have to be physical. It can be verbal. It can be a verbal disagreement, Anyways, blah, 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 blah. So let's see what's going on here. Arnold's father got ready. He was ready to fight for America. He knew this fight might start a war, but he was glad he heard the message. Okay, so Arnold's worried about his dad. Understandable. Alrighty, Arnold told his father goodbye. He watched his father ride away. Arnold was proud that his father was going to fight for America. Okay, so there's Arnold waving goodbye to his dad right here. This is what our flag used to look like. Had 13 stripes and 13 stars, symbolizing the 13 original colonies. And Rhode Island was one of them. Okay. And back then, he probably had to take care of the house while his father was gone, and whatever. He probably had to milk the cow and feed the chickens and do all the chores while his father was away. Kids were expected to grow up faster back then. The end. Lovely. Okay, my Cornerstone buddies, this is a time-telling game. All right. So we got to hit play. Alrighty, then you got to roll the dice. So you click on roll the die. So you click on the die, and this little. All right, now we have to choose the correct answer. Let me move my circle over here. Okay, the small hour hand is pointing to the 6, and the tall minute hand, the long minute hand, is pointing to the 12. Is that 10 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock? You're right, it's 6 o'clock. All right, what would we be doing at 6 o'clock a.m.? Well, at 6 o'clock a.m., 6 o'clock in the morning, you might still be asleep, or you might be getting up. It depends on when your bus comes. What would you be doing at 6 o'clock p.m. in the evening? Well, you might be eating dinner. All right. Let's roll the die again.
Choose the correct answer.
Okay, let's see. The small hour hand is between the 2 and the 3. So we're going to go with the 2 because we always go with the number that's lowest. The minute hand is pointing to the 6. Now this is interesting, okay? We've got, it's 2:30, it's 2 o'clock, it's 10 o'clock, it's 2:15. Okay, so 2:30 is another way of saying 2:30. Okay, so we're going to pick that. And it's correct. What would you be doing at 2:30 a.m.? You'd still be sleeping because it'd still be nighttime. It'd be late, well, it'd be early in the morning, but it would still be nighttime outside if you looked outside. What would you be doing at 2:30 in the p.m.? Well, you'd be on your way home on your bus, or you'd already be home. All right. Roll the die.
Choose the correct answer.
Alrighty then, let's see. We have the little hour hand between the 3 and the 4, so we're going to go with the 3. And the minute hand is pointing to the 6. So is that 3:30, 3 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 3:15? You're right, it's 3:30. And what would you be doing at 3:30 a.m.? again, you'd be asleep because you'd look outside and you'd see the night sky. What would you be doing at 3:30 p.m.? Well, you'd already be home from school and you'd be with your parents or caregivers, just hanging out and doing whatever. Maybe helping with chores, maybe watching TV, maybe playing a video game or listening to music. All right. Roll the die. Da, 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 da.
Choose the correct answer.
Okay, so the small hour hand is a little bit past the 12, so we're going to go with 12. And the minute hand is pointing towards the 3. So is it 1:45, 3 o'clock, 2:30, 2:15? All right, so when they say 2:15, they're breaking the time up into quarters, like this was a pie, like a pizza. All right, you got 1/4 of the pizza right here, another quarter of the pizza right here, and another quarter of the pizza right here, and another quarter of the pizza right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. So it's saying it's 1/4 past. Excuse me. It's saying it's oh, that's interesting. Hold on a second here. Well, it's not really 2:15. It's 12:15. That's strange. uh, well, it's actually 12:15 here on this clock, but the only choice that makes any sense is 2:15. So we're just going to choose that. It's saying it's correct, but 2:15 would show the little hour hand a little bit past 2, and then the minute hand right pointing towards the 3. So ignore that answer. All right. This game is flawed. Oh my. Let's see just how flawed it is.
Choose the correct answer.
Okay, the little hour hand is between the 5 and the 6, and the minute hand is pointing to the 9. Okay. So we're going to go with 5. All right. And our choices are it's 6:15, it's 6:45, it's 6 o'clock, it's 5:30. Okay, so 6:45 is another way of saying 5:45. Okay, so 6:45. Again, we're breaking the clock up into quarters. 1, 2, 3 quarters. And then there's 4 quarters. Okay, so the hand has gone past 1, 2, and 3 quarters. So we're going to say it's 5:45 because it's 5:45, and in 15 minutes it's going to be 6 o'clock. So what would you be doing at 5:45 in the AM? Well, hopefully you'd still be sleeping. Hopefully you don't have to get up that early. What would you be doing at 5:45 in the PM? You probably would be eating dinner, or you probably would have finished dinner. Maybe you're helping your parents or caregivers do the dishes, clear the table, what have you. Okay. Roll the dice.
It's 6 o'clock.
All right, so now you probably didn't hear it because the volume never works well on my computer. But a voice just said, it's 6 o'clock. So which one of these says 6 o'clock? This one says it's 6:30. This one says it's 7 o'clock. This one says it's 6 clocks. And this one says it's 6 o'clock. So we'll choose that one. What would you be doing at 6 o'clock in the morning? Well, you might be getting up. 6 o'clock a.m., you might be getting up. 6 o'clock in the evening, again, you'd probably be eating supper. Roll the dice. Uh-oh. We landed on a crocodile. We had to go back to square one. Let's roll the dice again. 5 steps.
I usually brush my teeth at 6:30 a.m.
The voice said, I usually brush my teeth at 6:30 a.m. Which one says 6:30 a.m.? This one says 7 o'clock. This one says 6:30 a.m. This one says 7:30 a.m. This one says 6 o'clock. So we're going with 6:30 a.m. At 6:30 a.m., you'd probably be getting up, getting ready for school, brushing your teeth, in the shower. Maybe you've already done that, you know. You might be eating breakfast. At 6:30 p.m., you'll probably be eating supper or cleaning up after supper. All right. Oh, we ran into a crocodile again, so we're back to square one. Roll the dice.
I usually get up at 6 a.m.
The voice said, I usually get up at 6 a.m. Which one says 6 a.m.? 6 p.m., 6 o'clock, 6:30 a.m., 6 a.m. Okay, at 6 a.m., what would you be doing? You know, you might be getting up, you might be still asleep. At 6, yeah, that's basically it. You might be getting up, might be still asleep. What time do I get up? Yeah, I get up at 6:30. Yeah, so I'd still be asleep.
I usually go to school at 8 a.m.
The voice said, I usually go to school at 8 a.m. This one says 8 p.m. This one says 8:30 a.m. This one says 8 o'clock. This one says 8 a.m. So, do you go to school at 8 a.m.? So you actually have to start school at 8:30 a.m., right? Alrighty. Roll the dice.
I usually have breakfast at 9 a.m.
The voice said, I usually have breakfast at 9 a.m. This one says 9 p.m. This one says 9 o'clock. This one says 9 a.m. There we go. Okay, so at 9 a.m., you usually have had your snack already, or you're having your snack. So it's sort of like having breakfast, you know? All right, maybe on the weekends you have breakfast at 9 a.m. Who knows? Let's roll the dice.
I usually take a shower at 7 a.m.
Okay, I usually take a shower at 7 a.m., the voice said. This says 7 o'clock. This one says 7 a.m. This one says 7:30 a.m. This one says 7 p.m. Let's go with 7 a.m. right here. That's what she said. So, take a shower at 7 a.m. Yeah, you guys might be doing that, right? Or you might be eating breakfast at 7 a.m. Okay. We lost. Why did we lose? Oh, all right. Let's play one more time. Yeah. I guess you gotta get to the.
Choose the correct answer.
I guess you have to get to the end or something. I don't know. Avoid all the crocodiles and get to the end. Okay, this says little hands point to the 6, big hands point to the 12. Very easy. Is it 7 o'clock? 10 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Okay, so the little hour hands point to the 6, big minute hands point to the 12. It's 6 o'clock. At 6 a.m., you might be getting up. At 6 p.m., probably eating supper, right?
Choose the correct answer.
Okay, 2, small minute hand, hour hand is a little bit past the 2. Between the 2 and the 3, so we're going to go with the 2, the smaller number. And then the long minute hand is pointing to the 6. So, is it 2 o'clock? Is it 2:15? Is it 2:30? It's 10 o'clock. Okay, so now we're dividing the clock into 2 halves, right down the middle. All right, so 2:30 is the same as 30 minutes past 2, or 2:30. All right, so 2:30 is the same as 2:30. So what would you be doing at 2:30 a.m.? You'd be sleeping, because it would still be nighttime outside. At 2:30 p.m., you'd be probably just getting home from school. Yay! Alrighty then, one more time.
Choose the correct answer.
Okay, so we got the small hour hand between the 3 and the 4, so we're going to go with the 3. All right, the minute hand is halfway around the clock. Okay, so is it 3:15? Is it 3 o'clock? Is it 10 o'clock? Is it 3:30? Okay, so 3, and then halfway around the clock is 30 minutes, so 3:30. So at 3:30 a.m., you'd still be asleep, because if you looked outside, you'd see the night sky. At 3:30 p.m., you would already have been home from school for, maybe an hour, maybe a little less. And you'd probably be hanging out, doing whatever, right? Hopefully helping your parents out with something, or your caregivers. All right, that's all we have time for, Cornerstone friends. Next comes the song. Stay tuned. Okay, my Cornerstone cohorts, here's an old Steve Miller song for you. Even though I'm out on the road, I've been down before. Riding along this big old jet plane, I've been thinking about my home. My love life seems so far away, and I feel like it's all been done. Somebody's trying to make me stay, I got to be moving on. Oh, big old jet airliner, don't carry me too far away. Oh, big old jet airliner, 'cause it's here that I got to stay. Goodbye to all of my friends at home, goodbye to the people I trusted. I got to go out and make my way. I might get rich, I might get busted. My heart keeps going backwards as I get on that 707. Friday night I got tears in my eyes. You got to go to heck before you get to heaven. Big old jet airliner, don't carry me too far away. Oh, big old jet airliner, 'cause it's here that I got to stay. Touching down in New England town, feel the heat coming down. Got to keep on, keeping on. The big wheel keeps us spinning around, and I'm going with some hesitation, 'cause I can surely see that I don't want to get caught up in those funky kicks going down in the city. big old jet airliner, carry me to my home. Oh, big old jet airliner, 'cause it's there that I belong. Thank you. Okay, now comes the part of the activity that we need to see what we remember from the story. Okay, number 1. Arnold and his father lived in a what? All right, let's zoom out. Oh, don't do that. What did they live in? Did they live in a fight? That wouldn't be very fun, would it? Did they live in a king? You can't really live in a king, right? Did they live in a colonists? Did they live in a message? No, they lived in a colony, right? The original 13 colonies, of which Rhode Island was one. We were one of the 13 original colonies. Isn't that nice? Okay. The blank was not being fair. Who wasn't being fair? Let's see who wasn't being fair, huh? Colony, message, colonists. The colonists was not being fair. When you're talking about more than one people, you're going to use the colonists were not being fair, so that doesn't make any sense. The fight was not being fair. The king was not being fair. All right. Calling to King George. All right. Night after night, they waited for what were they waiting for? What were they bloody waiting for? See, I've got my English accent. They were waiting for a fight. They were waiting for our colonists. Doesn't make any sense. They were waiting for a colony. They were waiting for a message. Well, that sounds about right. Alrighty then. The blank heard. What'd you say, Sonny? The message. Who heard the message? Let's just see. The fight heard the message. That doesn't make any sense. The king heard the message? Hopefully not, because he would have gotten even more angry and unreasonable then. The colonists heard the message? Alrighty then. The colonists heard the message. The colonists must get ready to blank for their rights. What for their rights? Are they going to king for their rights? That doesn't make any sense. Are they going to colony for their rights? Nah. Are they going to message for their rights? A text message, hey, we're angry about this king. We want our rights. Well, they didn't have text messaging back then. Are they going to fight for their rights? They're going to fight for their right, for freedoms. All right. Okay, that was a short comprehension section. Next, we will play a time-telling game online, so stand by, and then we'll have the song.